I hereby summon all my imps. Hey everybody, it's Annabelle. Every once in a while when I'm doing something with Marvel Snap or talking to somebody with Marvel Snap, I do get the question of what kind of advice I would give to newer players, to players who haven't been into Marvel Snap for a while, in order to make them better Marvel Snap players. And I kind of came up with 10 rules or 10 guidelines or 10 ideas that would make you a better Marvel Snap player. And I'm going to go through them all kind of quickly, but explain them all, and hopefully this will make you a better Marvel Snap player out there, or make you at least enjoy Marvel Snap a little bit better. So let's go over the rules that I have here. And the first rule that I have here is just a very simple rule. And the rule is you do not need Jeff. And what I basically mean behind that is you do not need any particular card. Every once in a while you'll hear this person come on, or this Snap player come on that says that you need Jeff the Baby Land Shark, or that you need Mobius and Mobius, or that you need Def, or that you need any other particular card. And the truth is, you don't. People who say that stuff basically are trying to get you invested in a card. And if you know what you're doing, you don't need any particular card in order to make it work, especially cards that aren't Series 3 or below. So don't worry about what the newest best card out there is. And don't be ashamed if you don't happen to have that card. And if that card is something you don't like, then don't play that card. There's no reason to play a card that you don't like. The next piece of advice that I have for everybody out here would be number 2 of It Takes Two. In most Marvel Snap games, you only need to win 2 locations, not 3. Oh, the caveat to this, of course, is Galactus. As everybody knows, Galactus only requires 1. But other than that, it takes 2. So, there are so many people out there in Marvel Snap who try to win all 3 locations, or worry about all 3 locations, that you lose a game or two just trying to worry about the fact that you're losing 1 location. A lot of times the best players out there, or better players out there, will just completely give up a location and say, I'll just win the other 2, and that's how you can win games. So that would be my number 2 for becoming a better Snap player, is it only takes 2 locations to win, not all 3. Next one that I would say for number 3 is that I'm going to take from Terrarian Academy and say reading the card explains the card. And that has to do with cards like Hawkeye. The number of people who don't read cards like Hawkeye and don't understand cards like Hawkeye are the people who lose matches. Read every card that you can. If you don't understand a card, reach out to somebody and ask them to explain the card to you. Let them show you how the card might work. There's a lot of people in Marvel Snaps who would be more than welcome and more than friendly to explain or show you how a card or a combo works. The next thing that I would say for this, and this would be number 4, would be location, location, location. As you play Marvel Snap, you'll start to learn that every single game is decided more or less by what locations you get. If you are playing an on-reveal deck and you get nowhere, you gotta know that that's a bad location for you. If you're playing a Blue Cage deck and you get Sewer System, know that you can play there and be okay. The amount of times that you gotta learn locations and know locations and know which ones are good and which ones are bad will make a difference between whether you win or lose a game. That I would say would be number 4. Number 5 would be the gambler said it best. You gotta know when to hold them, and you gotta know when to fold them. There's gonna be matches where you just gotta bounce. There's gonna be something that comes up where by turn 3 you know it's not your match. And it's better to retreat and get out of there and just lose the 1 cube. And even if somebody snaps right off the bat, you're only losing 2 cubes. You can stay into it till you see that 3rd location. The number of times that I've won a game because somebody snapped early, and then I just snap on turn 5, and they can't retreat, or they don't want to retreat because they think they got it, has been amazing. The other thing is that when you have the cards in your hand and you know what's going on, it's a good time to snap and to really be confident that's a good snap to have. The next one that I would say would be number 6. And number 6 would be what I call find a winning line. Now let me remove myself from the screen to show you what I mean by find a winning line. There we go. So this is what I mean by find a winning line. In this particular deck which I made, which is all series 3 and below, it runs what's a commonly known winning line, which is Wong, Black Panther, Arnim Zola. When you have those 3 cards in your opening hand, you pretty much know that you can win a match. Now once you get a winning line, you can create a second winning line. And now this one has a second winning line where you basically do Shuri, Red Skull, and then the Taskmaster. And then it's got some other winning lines where you can basically do stuff with the Daredevil and Gamora, and then Taskmaster. Because Daredevil will tell you where they're going to play on 5. Gamora will hit on 5. And then Taskmaster will copy on 5. Or 6, I should say, in that particular situation. So learn what your winning lines are and have maybe a couple different winning lines in your deck. That way you know when you have the Daredevil and you see the Gamora and the Taskmaster, you pretty much know you might win the match right there. So that would be the next one I say would be find the winning line. Number 7 for me would be practice, practice, practice. We have this wonderful little mode in Marvel Snap known as Conquest. You can go into Conquest and you can try a deck 16 times, 17 times, 100 times, and not lose anything in it. Go use it. Go learn your deck. Play your deck 5 times, play your deck 10 times, play your deck 100 times, until you basically know weird interactions, that you know unusual interactions. That's the one that I would say for number 7. Number 8 is a very simple one. You're going to lose. You're going to lose matches, you're going to lose games, you're going to lose cubes. If you think you're going to win every single game, you're not. There's going to be a match somewhere along the way where you just get bounced, where you just get trounced. There's going to be a match somewhere where somebody's playing a move deck, and all of a sudden on turn 6 they slam down a Galactus, and you sit there and go, who plays a Galactus in a move deck? You're gonna lose skins. It's part of the game. But if you don't let that get to you, then you're doing better than most people out there. Number 9, I would say, is something that doesn't get said too often to players out there. And that is, you're doing great. You're doing fine. You're doing fantastic. Don't judge yourself on where other people are at. If you're at level 75 and that's the first time you hit 75, it's awesome. You earned that 75. People try to say that you have to get 100, but it's just as hard to go from 70 to 80 as it is to go from 90 to 100. Be proud of the fact that you hit that 75. Be proud of the fact that you hit that 80. Be proud of the fact that you hit that 12. You're doing fine. And then next week, next month, next day, next whatever, if you hit 75, try to hit 76. It's okay not to hit 100 every single time. If you're enjoying the game, that's perfectly fine. And the last one that I would say out there for number 10 is that vanilla is a great flavor. And to bring that up for just a second here, I'm going to go back to my screen and show you this. Basically, this is a vanilla deck. Every single card in here is Series 3 or below. And it's doing something that's very easy to come by and understand how to play. But on the other hand, people can know the fact that that's what you're doing and counter it. But that's how you win games, by playing stuff that's reliable and sustainable and repeatable. And don't always go for these flavor of the week, flavor of the month decks. Now, if you like a flavor of the week or flavor of the month deck, that's fine too. But it's okay if you're not playing one. The people who really climb up week after week, month after month, year after year, are playing the same deck 8 hours a day, 10 hours a day, 12 hours a day. So, get used to what you're playing and be okay with playing a deck that's not weird. And if a deck doesn't fit you and that's a flavor of the month deck, it's okay to go back to one that you enjoy. So those would be the best 10 pieces of advice that I could give to anybody who would ever play Marvel Snap. Now, there is one fun rule that I like to give every single time to anybody who ever listened to me. And that rule is very simple. As always, remember, play for fun.